All right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Railroute. In Railroute, you will design, construct, upgrade, and automate your railway network in one of the many maps based off of real life cities worldwide. Dispatch the trains to make the traffic flow and the network grow. Ever of designing your own railway network, building it from scratch, adding more stations, taking on more contracts, watching your small network grow into a complex and thriving rail system? Railroute makes this dream a reality. Right, so this was assigned to Petty for review, so take it away.
All right. Alrighty. So this game, it's not awful, but it's also not for me. Like, if that makes sense.
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
This is, I like to call them pseudo sims. Like, you are simulating an action, but it's just abstract enough that, you can't really call it a true sim.
Mm, not in the way, say, A Train was.
Right. Like there are like routes here that are not totally accurate from what I remember seeing, but like this could definitely be somebody's.
Well, apparently these are at least based off of
Yeah, they're
real.
based off it, but.
Yeah. Honestly, this game reminds me a lot of Mini Metro.
Probably.
Mm.
Also, I think something broke.
Would be bad.
Yeah, let's just restart this. Because sometimes if you mess with stuff in the tutorial too quick, it will just break on you.
Uh-huh.
Which, I mean, fair. That was kind of my fault for screwing with crap. Um, but yeah, as far as the gameplay goes, it's a lot of waiting.
Oh, I guess it's got that in common with a lot of other simulations.
hmm Like at least you can like turn up the speed to I think it's a max of 25x at least by default. I
Hmm.
don't know if there are any mods or upgrades to go beyond 25. And I also don't know if this is just like train systems around Europe or if like there are any options for like say Japan, which would be another interesting thing for this or whatnot. But yeah, basically your kind of goal is to get trains on and off your section of track.
Hmm.
And then you can auto switch routes to wherever you need the train to go. Because like for people who are really into like how trains and stuff operate, this would be really cool for you. For someone like me who's never really had an interest in trains because they're just not around here, it's not really that much of an interest to me personally.
Hmm. Okay. Don't really have anything to add to that.
Yeah, it's like I I really wish I could kind of, go more into this cuz like there's meat here, but it's not for me, if that makes sense.
I think we have established it does.
Mm-hmm. And it's like the music here is very relaxing to the point if you don't want to fall asleep, mute the music in game and turn on something else.
Let me guess, you fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep, but it was definitely like, I can't leave this on. And like some of these interstitials here are really interesting, but the actual gameplay is just not for me.
Mm.
And like the whole process, like the actual gameplay loop is kind of like Diner Dash in a way.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember Mini Metro being like that as well.
Mm-hmm. And then like I could just connect these up to the things, and then when the train, as long as the trains aren't late, then I get more money. And then I can, have the option to reverse the train once it's time, and so on and so forth. Because it tells you the route plan,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll just go when it's time to go. It's like it's it's really interesting for someone who has an interest in. If you ever wanted to be a train conductor in modern times, because obviously this couldn't have been done 100 years ago, and then yeah, just like have at it. I don't know if you can cause like an actual catastrophic collision. Like if you're like the roller coaster tycoon maniac who wants a um you know make your death coaster, then that's not happening here as from what I can tell. Which I mean, you know, if you have a where you want to, make trains with hundreds of people on them collide into a fiery death, I would suggest talking to a psychiatrist, my friend.
Mm.
Because this is definitely not the game for you.
Maybe
Um,
it's exactly the game.
what?
It is a sim after all.
Yeah.
Or
Well, or as I
some.
like, it's more of a pseudo sim or micro sim or it. There are certain like sim elements it forgoes, and there's also a lot more like you can later on. There's a lot more methods of automation than a regular sim would have. Like you can unlock power ups and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's a true full sim, I guess, unless you want it to be. Just don't get those power ups and, you know, I guess c'est la vie. Um, but yeah, it basically just boils down to the game is all right if you're interested in like train conductor type
Mm.
things. And like there's kind of a story. You're the apprentice to a longtime conductor and he's going to be retiring relatively soon. I think by the end of the like second or third act, he ends up either retiring or, making it known he's leaving.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Like I guess, do you have any comments or concerns? I guess there is Steam Workshop and a map editor if that is your thing. It also has mod.io integration. There is a Discord map sharing thing, but I'd be hesitant on using something like this just because Discord is Discord.
Right.
But there is also just proper workshop support. I don't know if you cannot see this. I opened the workshop viewer and just like, yeah, there are some Chinese maps. There are like auto to music maps, I think, which those are kind of cool. You know, if they actually work. Um, there are maps that have been highlighted by the community. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. And it looks like the scene is fairly thriving on the modding front. At least on Steam, there are nearly 200 or 2,000 entries at time of recording. So if if you live near an established train route or like a established area with a lot of like subways or train systems, you may find your local area in here, or you may be able to just make your own because there's an editor. Open the wait, where does the map editor? I don't know how the editor works. I didn't have a chance to mess with that. Yeah, that was kind of my thing, Sergeant. I don't live in an area with a lot of trains, so a game where you're a train conductor doesn't personally appeal to me. But I could see how someone who does live near this and is more experienced with it is like, hey, I could probably do that. Then a pseudo sim like this would be a lot more appealing. But anything else, Adam? Or do we want to get into price?
Pricing, I think, is appropriate here. So it's clocking in at $24.99.
Oof.
Gonna disagree with you there
Well,
because
it depends on your if this is your first experience with something like this, it might be kind of an oof.
well,
If this is your wheelhouse, oh yeah, that's like you would probably buy this twice over and not even blink.
that's the thing. I'm comparing this price to other train simulators on Steam, and it's well within line.
Oh
In
yeah.
fact, it's on the cheaper side. And here's the thing that another differentiator between this and your, let's say, big boy train simulators, there's no DLC.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's the workshop, but there's nothing like paid. Yes.
Oh God! Like I think, what is it? Rail Simulator that has like literally record amounts of DLC in it.
Was that the one that had almost $2,000 worth of DLC?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one.
that's. I get licensing deal are a thing, but good lord, mate.
So that's the perspective on this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm looking at some of the built-in maps. There's Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
There's Tokyo, which that one could be an interesting thing. There's Rush Hour Prague because I believe the devs are in Rush Hour Prague.
Wouldn't surprise me.
There's Den Hong. I believe that is China. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and then you can just get more. There's a bunch of built-in endless maps. There are timetables, which I think these are closer to like actual real world. Yeah, these are like scaled maps. Or no, these are scored with predefined timetables. Be as precise as possible. So these are your big boy maps. Your I know what I'm doing, type stuff. And then there are obviously the tutorials because, and it's like the story the um Jostik. I probably butchered that. I apologize if, this is somebody's name and I horribly mangled it. I'm guessing they're Prague, and that is not my native anything there. But yeah, the game is an interesting curiosity if you have a interest in trains. If you're not, watch some video, see if it looks interesting to you. If yes, buy. If not, pass. And I think that's it for me on this.
All right then. So yeah, that'll about do it for Rail Route. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review This Way Madness Lies.